everyone, I'm Paul the Nitro Skyrus and welcome to this very special edition of the Nitro Corner as I give a review of 1CW's Hearts and Headlocks 2 event that was held last night at the Smyrna Boys and Girls Club in Smyrna, Delaware. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we had a capacity crowd. We were sold out. The official attendance, 642 fans. That is the largest crowd we've ever had for 1CW. And again, I'd like to thank each and every one of you fans for coming out to see this tremendous event. It was indeed the WrestleMania of 1CW. So let's get started with our review, shall we? First off, both Sean Hardy and the Delaware Assassin came out to greet the fans and to get them all pumped up and ready for tonight's action. And indeed, it was indeed tremendous as far as I'm concerned. It was just great on their part to do that at the beginning of the show. So let's get started with the action. It started out with the Cruiserweight Scramble match, otherwise known as a Fatal 4-Way, as Brandon Knight scored a victory over the Latin Dragon, Jeremy Hadley, and Blackie. On a side note, I like the Trojan outfit on Jeremy Hadley's ring attire. He thinks he's a gladiator. But all in all, four great cruiserweights battled it out. In the end, great work rate by all four of them. But at the end of the day, it was Brandon Knight scoring, the All-American Brandon Knight scoring the victory at the in that Cruiserweight Fatal 4-Way. And no doubt he'll be in line for a shot at the Cruiserweight title in the very near future. Next up was the first of two ladies qualifier matches to determine which two will move on to the title match at a later date for 1CW, as Ada Marie scored a victory over Candy Cartwright. I'll tell you this much on a side note, Candy Cartwright's got one of the best gimmicks I've ever seen. Here's this debutante coming out to ringside, all glitz and glamour and thinking she's above everyone else. It was a great gimmick. By the way, nice spot was when the microphone went dead. The sound system went dead and she just stands on the apron. We're waiting. I mean, all of us and myself were waiting for you to turn on the microphone. We're waiting. Love that. That was perfect. Any other person that's just starting the business may crack or fold or may not know what to do. She did know what to do. That was a great opening spot. I'll give her credit for that. That was very good. So Ada Marie, though, won the match and has moved on to one of the two finalist spots in the 1CW Women's title match. Next up was a tag team attraction as the Brotherhood of Brutality took on Pretty Ugly. Jokers Are Wild was out. They did not show up for the event, so it was changed to a tag team attraction as Pretty Ugly took on the Brotherhood of Brutality. It was a fun match. Pretty Ugly is a very entertaining team, to say the very least. But at the end of the day, it was Adam Flash delivering the elbow off the top rope to score the pin, and the Brotherhood of Brutality is back on their winning ways in 1CW with that victory alone. So congratulations to that one. Next up was the much highly anticipated 1CW Heavyweight Championship match as Christian York defended his title against Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler. And I gotta tell you, it was just a thrill for me as well as everyone out there to see the King in action, boy. I've seen him on YouTube during his days in Memphis, in the AWA, and in the WWE. It's just incredible to see this man live. He is truly a legend in this business. Unfortunately for Mr. Lawler, he did not get the championship. He did win the match, though, by disqualification because Christian York used the championship belt on Jerry the King Lawler. It was a very entertaining match. The King pulled down the strap. Everyone went absolutely bananas over that. The King victorious, but by a disqualification over Christian York. And then there was an intermission so that everyone could go to the merchandise table and get an autograph with Jerry the King Lawler. And it was anticipated the line was out the door. As a matter of fact, I was one of the lucky ones to get two autographs with Jerry the King Lawler, and I'll show them to you right here. This is the first one. Look at that, the King in action. And then right here, the second one, the King again. First off, Jerry Lawler is a tremendous individual. Shook his hand, and just an all-around nice guy, and really did as many autographs as he could because he had a 3:30 p.m. flight that he had to catch to get to a house show this past weekend. But Jerry the King Lawler, tremendous. We thank you so very much for your participation and your hard work and your dedication to the fans. And that was a thrill to meet Jerry Lawler, by the way. Tremendous, tremendous. After the intermission was over, it was time for the 1CW First State Championship match, as Ryan McBride didn't lose a step at all as he defeated the Havana Pitbull Ricky Reyes with his patented Irish Roll Slam to successfully defend that First State Championship. And then afterward, Ryan McBride did the unthinkable. He called out the 1CW Heavyweight Champion, Christian York, as he was just getting done leaving the gimmick table, and called him out, saying that he may have had some victories, but he hasn't beaten Ryan McBride. And he called him out, wanting a title unification match, title versus title. Unprecedented in the history of 1CW has that happened. Initially, Christian York blew him off, saying that he was a punk and that he would not accept the challenge. Well, Sean Hardy, president of 1CW, surely changed that around, stating that Christian York was going to defend the 1CW heavyweight title against, Ryan McBride, who was going to put up his First State Championship in a title unification match to crown an undisputed 1CW champion. It would happen later on in the show. The fans went ballistic on that. That was tremendous and an unreal and unprecedented move, an historic move for 1CW. Next up was the second of two ladies qualifying matches, as Simply Divine defeated Nia to get into the second qualifying spot, finalist spot, for that ladies championship. And now it will be Ada Marie versus Simply Divine for the ladies championship at a later 1CW event. Simply Divine is surely one of the tough female athletes out there in the world of professional wrestling. Nia is also a very talented individual who does a better leg split than John Morris's girlfriend. You know her as Melina. Sorry, I got a little mental lapse. You haven't seen him in a while, then you kind of forget. But Nia does a better split than Melina. You can rest assured of that. But at the end of the day, Simply Divine used the roll-up and a little help from the tights to score the win. And I'll be looking forward to seeing the finals of that ladies championship between Ada Marie and Simply Divine for the ladies championship. Next up on the card was the title unification match, as Christian York jump-started the match before Ryan McBride got in the ring, and it was a grueling battle. Certainly one of the big matches of the year, in my opinion. Both men took it to the limit, and at the end, it was Ryan McBride with the Irish roll off the top rope, and he pinned Christian York, and now he is the new 1CW heavyweight champion. The York Daddy era has come to an end, as the York Daddy lost the 1CW heavyweight title, and now Ryan McBride is officially recognized as the undisputed, unified 1CW heavyweight champion of the world. That's the first title change of the night. Congratulations to Ryan McBride. He surely has earned his spot in 1CW. Now he is the man to beat in 1CW. What about Christian York? Who knows what's going to happen down the road. Hopefully he'll be able to get a rematch for the 1CW Heavyweight Championship. But a great matchup. A first of many match of the year candidates as far as I'm concerned. First title change of the night. Next up was the much anticipated 1CW Tag Team title match. Now a little side note before we begin everything. Because of an illness to one half of the Nigerian Nightmares, the Nigerian Nightmares would not be able to wrestle that particular night, so it was announced on Friday that them damn boys, Mark and Jay, the Briscoe brothers, would take their place and against the D-Line to crown the first ever 1CW Tag Team Champions. And I got to tell you, what an emotionally packed match that was. It went back and forth. Both teams working hard to try to win the 1CW Tag Team titles. But at the end, it was a vicious double spear tackle from the D-Line, called the Destruction Line, as I like to call it. And the D-Line defeated Mark and Jay Briscoe to become the first ever 1CW Tag Team Champions. Congratulations to the D-Line. They have certainly earned their spot now as the top tag team in 1CW. And that was the second title change of the night, the title match, as the D-Line becomes the brand new 1CW Tag Team Champions. And you can bet Mark and Jay Briscoe will be demanding a rematch against the D-Line. And don't forget, the Nigerian Nightmares are also waiting in the wings for a title shot. You know that situation is far, far from over. Next up would be the 2 out of 3 falls title versus career cruiserweight match. By the way, on the side note, the D-Line Briscoe match, second pick for match of the year. The next matchup would be the third match of the year candidate. It was the 2 out of 3 falls title versus career, the last battle of Smyrna. Cruiserweight title matchup, the last battle of Smyrna between Brian Hardy and Crazy Shay. And there was no disqualification in that one. And in the first fall, it was Brian Hardy putting away Crazy Shay with that superplex off the top rope. 1, 2, 3. Brian Hardy wins the first fall. But Crazy Shay came back and won the second fall with his own version of a superplex. 1, 2, 3. And he won the second fall, but then the third fall. What an ending, folks. What an ending. The referee could not do anything about it as Brian Hardy held up Crazy Shay for, Sean Hardy held up Crazy Shay for Brian Hardy to hit. Crazy Shay moves out of the way. Hardy just stops himself from hitting Sean Hardy. But what does Sean Hardy do? He slaps. Boom! Brian Hardy in the face. That led to Crazy Shay putting him away with the crazy drop. 1, 2, 3. And Crazy Shay defeats Brian Hardy in the third and deciding fall. He gets to stay in 1CW, and he is now once again the 2-time 1CW Cruiserweight Champion. Congratulations. And now, once Crazy Shay has a new manager in Sean Hardy, who was in with Crazy Shay the whole time, folks. Unbelievable. The fallout from this is going to be tremendous. What will happen now to Brian Hardy? What will happen now to him now that Sean Hardy has dumped him like yesterday's trash and has gone to the right side with Crazy Shay? We'll have more about that down the road. And what about the All-American Brandy Knight? He won the Cruiserweight Scramble, the Fatal 4-Way match. No doubt he'll be in line as well for a Cruiserweight title shot down the road. And that would be, in my opinion, the third match of the year. Actually, the third match of the year candidate as far as I'm concerned. And now, the main event of the evening, the 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal. Now, here's how it worked. There were 3 groups of 10 wrestlers. Each wrestler drew a number, either Group 1, Group 2, or Group 3. Group 1 would come out there to start out the battle royal. Every 5 minutes, another group would come in until all 3 groups were in the ring. Over-the-top rope elimination occurred, and at the end of the day, it was a very interesting battle royal. But the Rockin' Rebel, an ECW original, picks up the win in the battle royal, but then absolutely disgusting. I mean, absolutely disgraceful. What happened next? The female official, who I do not know her name, hopefully someone will be able to tell me that, their female official was going to raise his hand in victory, and please excuse my language, but the words came out of the Rockin' Rebels mouth were, "Get your hands off me, bitch," and then clotheslines her to the canvas. Now, I don't condone men hitting women for no reason, and that would be the prime reason, but let me put it to you this way. Rockin' Rebel had no business doing that. And then on top of all that, disgraceful, he pile drives her. That's right, folks. He pile drove her. Now, I'm surprised Sean Hardy has not announced yet that this man is suspended for doing that, which leads to Ada Marie and Simply Divine coming out, who were objected to that and started beating down Rockin' Rebel, but they made a mistake. They went after each other. That gave Rockin' Rebel the opportunity to pile drive both Simply Divine and Ada Marie. Both went down at the hands of the Rockin' Rebel, and then he got on the microphone and yelled out vicious comments towards the audience. And like I said, if I was Sean Hardy, I would suspend this man for his actions, and a heavy fine is absolutely necessary. Now, the Rockin' Rebel no doubt have some beef with me over that, but that is my opinion. The Rockin' Rebel had no business whatsoever to do that. None. And that, in essence, ended Hearts and Headlocks 2. Like I said, it was the WrestleMania of 1CW, and I thank each and every one of you fans for coming out. Later on down the road, I will give you the date for the next 1CW event and where it will be held at. And if there's anything like what happened last night in Smyrna, you can best believe it will be the hottest ticket in town for state championship wrestling, leading the revolutionary force in professional wrestling. And that is it for the special edition of the Nitro Corner. Oh, on a side note, I will send my wishes to Jay the Good, aka the Hellaware Assassin. He was injured last night while doing camera work for 1CW. It was a freaky moment as far as I'm concerned. He suffered, I believe, a fractured jaw, a concussion, and quite possibly a shoulder injury out of all this. We wish him the best of luck and a speedy recovery. I hope you come back, Hellaware, to 1CW in the very near future. We hope you do well in your recovery from all of us here at the Nitro Corner and 1CW. And with that in mind, that is it for the special edition of the Nitro Corner. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you next weekend for the Nitro Corner, and I'll hopefully have a date in the near future for the next 1CW event. Until then, this is Paul the Nitro Skyver saying, so long, everybody.